Hey folks, Sean Jordan from the Research and Planning Group here to start showing you some of the cool things marketing research professionals can do with generative AI programs like ChatGPT. Now buckle up because we're going to dive right into one of the most user-friendly programs today, and by the end of this video, you're going to be able to generate pictures like these or learn how to have an AI program write a focus group screener for you in under 1 minute. I'm excited about this technology and I can't wait to share it with you. It takes me back nearly 25 years ago to the magic I experienced when a friend first showed me Google and told me to press the I'm feeling lucky button. Google revolutionized how we search for information on the internet. Generative AI is going to change how we communicate it. And what's really cool is that anyone who can write a simple sentence can learn to use it. But enough of me talking. One of the coolest things about generative AI is seeing it in action. And believe it or not, the best way to see what that currently looks like is by firing up your Edge browser, logging in with your Microsoft account that you'd use to log into Windows, and then visiting bing.com and clicking on Chat. Bing Chat is a relatively new tool that's powered by two generative AI programs made by OpenAI. There's ChatGPT, which is a text generator, and DALL-E, which is an image generator. What I love about this tool is that it's free, it's easy to use, and it's extremely powerful. It's also actually better than OpenAI's free version of ChatGPT because it can search the web for additional information, so it's a really great place to start. What you'll notice when you log in are three modes. There's creative, balanced, and precise. And each of these have their purposes, but we're going to go ahead and set it right away to creative mode and try something absolutely crazy. Okay, so let's put in a prompt. How about something like, create a picture for me of a tiger who just won the Super Bowl. Make it look realistic, like a picture on a magazine cover. So first of all, notice that I typed this in plain English. I didn't use any kind of computer code or anything along those lines, just giving this program instructions. And specific, but not that detailed. And look at what it's able to produce in just a few seconds. There's 4 different pictures of the tiger, and we can look at them and kind of see what they look like. They're all a little bit different in terms of what it produced, but they're definitely pretty close to what that prompt asked for. Now, the thing is, I kind of had in mind that I wanted the tiger to look like he was actually a football player, right? So I'm going to change the prompt a little bit with some extra words. So add a football helmet and a jersey with the appropriate padding. One of the things you'll also notice is that this program likes to come back to you with information. So while it's generating the image, it's also telling me things about tigers, and it's telling me a little bit about some of the details that it's going to add. And look at what we got here now. We have a tiger that looks like an actual football player, wearing jerseys that in some cases even kind of look like something that maybe the Cincinnati Bengals might wear, which is pretty cool given that I didn't tell it to do that, but it is still coming up with that. So now let's keep adding some different things to this. And one of the things we can do is we can tell it to change the style of what things look like. So what if we wanted to say, make this tiger look like he's from the neon colored world of the 1980s in the style of Lisa Frank. So if you don't know who Lisa Frank is or what that style of art is, it was really popular in the 80s, and it'll actually tell us a little bit about that style as it's generating the imagery. But one of the things that we can understand is that DALL-E and ChatGPT are able to not only understand what these cues mean from their training data that they already have, but they're also in Bing Chat able to go on the web and start looking for more information, which is really cool. So we got several different pictures here that respond to this prompt, and these are pretty close to what I remember that kind of artwork looking like. It's pretty neat. So now let's make another change. And sometimes we want to change things by telling it to delete something that we said before and then to add in something new. So what we're going to say here is let's remove the Lisa Frank neon 1980s style and make it look instead more like a Saturday morning cartoon show. It's going to be a little bit different, and I can't wait to see what it comes up with. Part of the fun of generating images in DALL-E is actually seeing the wild and weird interpretations that it can come up with sometimes. But here we go. Okay, we got 4 different tigers here, all very cartoony. They're essentially the same in terms of how it's interpreting the prompt, but they're also different in terms of how they look. One thing you will notice is that it's not very good right now about generating any kind of text. It always looks like it's in a foreign language or something like that. But graphically, wow, I can't believe I generated that in just a few seconds. Well, I hope you're already seeing the fun you can have with this, and by the way, you can keep refining that prompt as much as you want. In fact, you can also make big changes to the prompt with just another sentence. So I'm going to try this one. Okay, we're going to make some big changes. We're going to say, keep that Saturday morning cartoon style, but let's change the tiger to a llama. Let's make him look like he's wearing a Mad Max outfit and have him drive a dune buggy with his girlfriend riding along. Oh man, this is going to be fun. One of the things that I expect here is that it's probably going to misinterpret the cue a little bit and get some things wrong, but there'll probably be at least one that's right. Sure enough, here we go. That's exactly what we were looking for, right? Very, very close to what that prompt said, but there's still some weirdness here. I'm not sure what's going on with this leg. His body doesn't quite seem to match exactly right to the proportions of a llama, and he's got horns for some reason, which, hey, llamas don't really have horns, but this one is a little different. I guess that still technically could be his girlfriend. It's pretty close. This one got off the rails. I'm not sure exactly what happened here. It doesn't really understand what it was trying to generate. And here we get some kind of other creature as his girlfriend. Still pretty cool, but not exactly what I had in mind with the prompt. But, there's so many other things that you can do with this too. Tell me a story about the adventures these two characters are having. Let's see what it comes up with. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but what it'll do is it'll generate an actual story. And I could tell it to write me a poem or to write me a ballad. This one is called Llama Fury Road. It's a parody of the Mad Max franchise, but with llamas instead of humans. So now I have a story with characters, with background information, with puns that are playing on a popular film. And again, it's all being generated just in a matter of seconds from a plain English prompt that I put in. So what I want you to note is that when you're asking Bing Chat to do this kind of stuff, it's almost instantaneous. But you also need to make sure you notice that what it's going to do is it's going to look back at the things you had asked it to do before and use those as inputs into what it's creating. Even if we change things up pretty drastically, it's sometimes going to get confused, and it's going to do things like, if I keep asking it to create pictures of llamas, for example, it might work a tiger back into the drawing, or it might reference the styles that I mentioned earlier for different types of artwork. So one thing that you need to do occasionally is wipe the slate clean by pushing this button right here and starting over. So we can have a lot of fun with this, but let's try to make it do something a little bit more practical for a marketing or opinion research type of context. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this lengthy prompt that I wrote that's asking ChatGPT to write a screener for a focus group study. And it's got a lot of different criteria in there. We want certain age groups, 12 participants, 30 to 40% of the sample to be male. Also, we want an email invitation, and we want a picture that we could include in that of a focus group where everyone is smiling and it looks warm and inviting. So it's going to come back to me trying to converse with me a little bit, but ultimately it is going to generate what I asked for. And what's interesting about this is that it's going to take the information that I provided in the prompt, but it's also going to start making some stuff up. And as you can maybe notice up here, it started searching the web for how to do these things. This is one of the big differences between Bing Chat and vanilla ChatGPT, is that Bing Chat is actually capable of searching the web and looking for input that it can use rather than just relying on its training data. So look, right away it's already writing questions in the format that we would use in a screener. What's your gender? What's your age? What's your employment status? What's the highest level of education you've completed? Do you live in Missouri? Race and ethnicity. And then it's telling me to insert other things. Now sometimes it'll actually start developing a context for you based on what it finds on the web. It might say, oh, I'm going to write this for a healthcare study or for a pet preferences study or something like that. But in this case, it kept it pretty close to what I would actually look for. And I could take this and use this as scaffolding in an actual screener that I was writing. Here's that email invitation. So subject, you're invited to participate in a focus group study, and it's written a letter that's giving probably more detail than I would give in a letter, because I certainly wouldn't tell them what criteria they need to meet to participate, because I'd want to discourage scammers. But look, it pulled some images off the web. Now, I can actually tell it as well to go ahead and create an image of a focus group. Make it look like the photos above. And let's see if it can generate something that's completely original for me instead of pulling something off the web. I will warn you that sometimes when it generates these pictures that they're kind of nightmare fuel. So let's see. Oh, yep, we got a couple already that are a little scary. You know, you can see the person's face doesn't look quite right. It's using a blurring effect to make people look a little bit strange. The lighting in the background isn't quite right. Oh, this one has some really scary faces in it. So I might not necessarily want to use an AI-generated image. This one's not too bad. But I might want to continue to refine the prompt and give it more information, like make them sit around a conference table looking at a moderator, or make everyone look like real people who are comfortable, or I know. How about let's make them all look like they're in a comic strip. Let's see what that will generate. But what we want to avoid is we want to avoid images that are going to look like they're obviously generated by AI, partially because they're going to be really off-putting to people, but also because they might get more focused on the image than they do on what the image is meant to convey. So here, we got something really different. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. I think it's a little bit less intimidating than what we used before. This one's not too bad. And again, these are completely original creations. Now, you know, sometimes it put text in there and you'll have to tell it to take the text out as you're refining it. Other times it'll just put in word balloons or things like that. But look at what I was able to generate really quickly. And one of the things that I've commented to a lot of my colleagues is that I see these tools as being the death of clip art. All of those images that we're so accustomed to seeing in presentations that people pull off the web, you can now generate things that are completely original when you just need to convey a quick idea. It's really neat. Now, for the 5 minutes of work that we put in here, not even that, we've managed to generate a nicely written screener that we can copy and paste into a document, revise to suit our style, an invitation email we can likewise copy and paste and then revise, and an image that we can use to offer our invitation some visual appeal. That's pretty cool. But what if we wanted to go a little bit deeper? Let's try. There's actually something even cooler you can do, and that is teach this program to write things in your own style. So I have this screener that I wrote for a recent study, and I've taken all the client information out of this, of course. But what I'm going to do is I am going to ask Bing Chat, using its ChatGPT engine, to write a screener for me in a similar style. So I'm going to say, I'm going to show you a screener for a focus group, and I want to change this from a healthcare study into something that is pertained to foodies, and we're doing a taste testing study, and so I'm going to input all of that. Now, it doesn't quite fit. It can only do 4,000 characters, but I'll truncate the ending there. Here we go. So what I'm asking it to do here is take all of this screener that I've given it as input and then to generate something new for me. So a new screener for a taste testing study. You can see it's already at work generating. It's a little slower than it might be for something that doesn't require it looking at data that were input into the chat itself, but definitely it's able to put together something that is pretty cool and coherent pretty quickly. Right now, what it's doing is it's taking many of the ideas that were in the original screener that I copied and pasted over, but it's following the same format, the same directions. I told it anything in brackets is an instruction, and anything that's not in brackets is part of the questions that are actually going to be asked by the recruiter. And look, it's inserted a new foodie question for me about whether or not someone considers themselves a foodie or not, and how often do they try a new restaurant. It has taken out the questions that I might have asked about healthcare, and it's even added in a question I didn't tell it to ask about food allergies or dietary restrictions, which is kind of cool that it actually figured that out. So another thing is that I told it the original group's dates were April 1st. It's decided to go ahead and set them on April 15th for whatever reason. So you will see that it occasionally makes things up from your original prompt, but even so, look at, in the short amount of time I've been talking, 2 minutes, it was able to generate a screener for me in the style of what I showed it. I could take that, copy it back into my template, brush it up a little bit, and use it. All I really have to do is put it on my letterhead, make a few additions, and it's ready to go. And think about that for a minute, how much time and effort I can save teaching this program to do exactly what I was going to already do myself anyway. Now, if your mind isn't already blown at what I've just shown you, let me mention 3 other things that might change that. First of all, everything that I've shown you so far is absolutely free to use without any royalties or any credit. It's like you have the world's most powerful assistant working for you completely for free. Second, you can further direct the software to use what it has already got present to write your moderator's guide, to write up research objectives, to write up a proposal template, just about anything that you could need. And it'll do a reasonably good job based on the information you've provided, and then accept any revisions that you want to throw at it. But you can give it even more power by uploading meeting notes or a similar proposal or a similar study. The more detail that you provide, the more it'll generate something that's very useful and which matches your style. And as you can see, it's already at work here, not only giving me an image that I could use, but writing up moderator's guide. Third, everything I've shown to you so far is something that you can do today with no additional training. All you've got to do is log into Bing Chat and start playing around. You can have it write stories for you. You can carry on chats in the style of your favorite literary character. You can even ask it to teach you what else it can do. It can summarize complex topics into digestible pieces, and you can even tell it to pretend that it's speaking to a 5-year-old if you want things to be really simple and easy to understand. It'll save your chats in your history like it has over here, so you can reference them later, and you'll also have the power to delete them if you don't want to have to see them anymore. Okay, so this stuff is really cool, right? But I do want to offer a few words of caution. Number one is don't put anything in the chat that you wouldn't want Microsoft or OpenAI to store in their servers, because we have no idea what data they actually store. Anything that's proprietary should stay that way. Number two, one of the biggest problems with AI programs like ChatGPT and DALL-E is that they will very confidently produce output that is wrong. It's a little more obvious with images because you'll notice that things aren't quite right, but remember how Bing Chat would make up dates and details about my focus group? It'll do that with just about anything, and you have to be on your guard for it. The third thing is there's no question that tools like this are going to put a major strain on paid content writers, digital illustrators and designers, and the ethical thing to do is to continue to hire those folks for any work that you would ordinarily pay for. The AI tools are best used to speed up and improve the quality of your own work, not to undercut the market for creative professionals. So there you have it. You've got enough knowledge to start using generative AI through Bing Chat right now. So go give it a few minutes of your time and play around with it. Get creative. Have fun. And remember, if you don't have any immediately creative ideas of your own, you can also ask Bing Chat to come up with fun ideas for you. The next video in our series is going to be about using ChatGPT itself, and you're going to be amazed at what it is capable of doing. Future videos are going to focus on ChatGPT plugins and other AI programs like Stable Diffusion and Midjourney. Don't miss them. And be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so you can be notified about future videos so you won't miss out. I'd also love to hear what you think of this video in the comments, especially if you're a marketing researcher or insights professional like me. And don't be shy about sharing the cool things you're doing with AI. See you next time.